All right, 𝗗cie, welcome to our first session together, and let me make sure I got all of the elements that you sent to me. I know I have this, I have that flyer, and then the solo, but I need to get the logo. Give me 1 second. Okay, 𝗗cie, I'm going to wait till you resend the logo, but what I want to start off saying is I want to try to help you to wrap your head around the whole thing, and I'm gonna try to do it in a way that you can kind of get it. The whole thing, 𝗗cie, about Photoshop is all about layers. So I want you to think of Photoshop as being like a book with transparent like clear papers. So let's say we have a book and each page got a clear, transparent or see-through, like a see-through page, right? So each layer, if we pull this up, this is page 1. And so we see these characters here, but everything white, or let me remove the background. Everything that got the block on it, that's see-through. That represents that you can see through it, right? So watch this. If I create another layer behind these guys, or you guys, and this will be considered another page, right? Now, this is a page that's behind you guys. So if I took, let's say this brown paint here, and this is a paint bucket, and this is how you choose the color from the paint bucket. You just click this, and this color picker is going to pop up, and you can pick whatever color you want. Okay, you're going to be using that pretty often. Okay, so if I paint this layer, you see that this page or layer is behind your image. Now I can take this image and I can pull it down, and now it's going to be behind this layer. And we have a few different tools. We got normal, kind, opacity, fill. Really don't pay attention to nothing but the opacity right now. If I adjust the opacity, this 100% opacity means it's opaque. And opaque and transparent is two different things. Opaque, you cannot see through. Transparent, you can see through. But when you go to the opacity, the opaqueness is at 100. But when we move it down, we start removing the opacity, or we kind of make it a little clearer and clearer and clearer. Zero opacity means nothing there. 100% opacity means it's fully solid, okay? So let's drag this back behind your people, and I'm gonna select this layer, and I'm gonna change the opacity of that. So we can change the opacity and go down, down, down to 0, and now they're completely gone. And then we can bring it up, 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 up. Okay, so that's the opacity. So now you just learned about layers and the layer's opacity. Now that's going to come into place later on, not necessarily right now, but you're going to have to use that eventually. So you might want to take notes. Each Photoshop, let me do you another one. Right now I got all of your flyers that you sent to me on each page or each layer. Okay, so here's the flyers there. There's another flyer. What I want you to look at is everything that you see here is considered a layer. The saxophones is on the layer. The event 21 is on the layer. Your logo is on its own layer. Your band is on another layer. The massor, I don't know how to pronounce that properly, but that's on its own layer. These guys are on their own layer, the same way you guys right here is on your own layer. these are already produced, and we're going to reproduce one of these flyers to show you. I'm going to show you how it was put together so you can understand, oh, that's how they did that. Oh, that's how they did that. I want you to get that first. Then I'm going to give you some other exercises, and then I'm going to give you some quizzes to find out what you know. And then if you don't know, like if you get the quiz wrong, then I'm going to go back and retrain you, or you got to just go back and do the study notes and take the quiz again. Okay. So we're going to remove these layers here, right? And now you have an idea of what layers is. Now, you can do things like copy layers. So to copy a layer, you want to select this layer, pull it down, and put it, let me show you something. Here, let me delete this. I got to show you something. Down here, you have the garbage can delete layer. Wait, let me pull this up so you can actually see it. This here delete layers. You see how the delete popped up? This here create, hold on, I'm going to pull this in because you probably can't see it. If you hover your mouse over something, if you hover your mouse over something, if you hold it there longer than a few seconds, the explanation of what that tool is going to pop up. So if you hover your mouse over the garbage can, that shows that you use that button to delete a layer, or you can delete it as well on your keyboard. This here teaches you how to create a new layer. All right. So if I just wanted to make another layer above you guys, I just hit that. Boom. So I just created another layer above you. So if I wanted to put something there, let's say I want to put a circle, and then I want to paint inside of the circle. Remember, that's the paint brush. We're on a new layer. I paint inside the circle. If we want to change the color, don't forget, you want to go over here. Remember, click that and go to like pink. Hit OK and paint inside pink. Now the reason why right now this is a marquee. Marquee allows you to, whatever you want to do on a layer, the marquee, whatever you do inside of a closed marquee is going to be the only thing that you can do something on that particular layer. Right? So as you see, I made a circle here on this layer. I can go up here, pick a marquee tool, and we'll talk about these a little bit later because I want to, teach you one at a time. But we're going to pick the lasso tool, and I can make it like a shape. And now the marquee, when you see the marquee, they call that the marching ants. When you see the marquee, you can put something in there. So we can click this and maybe pick another color, let's say yellow, and then we can paint inside this yellow, and we see that it's on this layer. If we cut the layer on off, that's another layer. Okay, so going back down here, we're going to delete this, but going back down here, you see this is how we create a new layer. Then you could create a folder group. Right, so if I click that, a folder going to pop up. Now you're not going to use this very often. This is when you get to expert level. This is when you want to get to expert level. And what happens is you take all your layers and you put it in, you drag it. I'm going to show you. I'll just show you real quick. You hold shift, select all those layers, you drag it and drop it inside of group. So now what happens is, instead of, let's say for instance, you don't want this layer seen, you don't want the brown layer seen, you only want that saw. Well, when you do a group, if you take the eye, if you cut off the eye of the whole group, everything disappears. So that's the benefits of that. Now we're going to get into that later. Don't burden yourself about it right now, but I just wanted to kind of just add that. That's what a group is. So we're going to take these, drag these out of the group. Okay, we grabbed it out of the group. I'm gonna select the group layer and go down here and delete. Okay, because you remember the delete. All right, so So let's go back. We know that that's delete layer. We know that this is create a new layer. We know that this is create a layer group. And then you have something what's called adjustment layer. And we're not going to get into that right now because it's not really important right now. It's going to definitely be important later, but it's not important right now. And then you have add layer mask. I never use this because I do everything manually. I add my own mask, but you're going to want to learn and understand what that is later on. All right. So with that being said, these are the most important tools besides these tools that's going to help you to alter things. These is going to be important to make sure that you have layers or pages. So let me go back and re-emphasize. As you see, if you see this group here, and you see this guy there, and then you see this flag back here, and then you see Manolo, Rileros. I wish I knew your language. It would be fun. But anyway, this is his layer. This layer is behind this layer. This layer is behind all three of these layers, and this flag is behind all the layers. So right now we're basically looking at 1, 2, 3. Oh, we forgot the railroads. So since the railroads is behind the group, this is, let me see, 1, 2, 3. So the railroads will be the third layer. Then he will be the fourth layer, and then the flag will be the fifth layer. So we look like we got 5 or 6 layers. All right, so that's why I said this is easy to produce. Now I'm gonna show you something that I can reproduce, but it might not be so easy. And I'll explain to you why, and we'll get into detail. I'm gonna type up PSD flyers, and we're just gonna look for a random flyer. So let's say this one right here look like it might be very impactful, right? This right here, this 4th of July. Look like a lot is going on. I can reproduce this to the T, and I'm going to train you how you can look at something and be able to reproduce it to the T, because all it is about tools and layers. That's it. That's the only thing you have to put all your focus and energy on, the tools and the layers. Layers come first, then tools come secondary. Your tools is going to be what you're going to use to do the special effects and to hype stuff up. But your layers is going to be used to stack images. Okay? So I want to be able to drive that point home. We're talking about tools and layers. Right now we really concentrate on the layer side. Because you need to understand that before we start reproducing that, so you can know where we got it from. All right. So I'm going to turn off all these layers, and I'm going to keep this layer on, and we're going to call this layer group. Right. So that's the group. Now I'm going to start off doing a mini flyer by showing you how this stuff is done. So we're going to take this group, we're going to drag it down here to create new. And now we have 2 of those layers. You see? So that is the first step. That's the first step into understanding what's going on. So now watch this. We're going to select the group under this group, and let's enlarge it. So we're gonna go over to the corner of it. Here, let me undo that. We're gonna go to the corner of it. You see when this this little arrow transform, like it's right here, but when they go to the edge of transform, that gives you the option or permission to scale it. Now to scale it in proportion, because let me show you something. We can scale this. Hold on, let me get that back. Sorry about that. We can scale this, but if you don't scale it right, you can scale it and it can be distorted. So what you want to do, here, let me undo that. What you want to do when you want to scale it, when you hover over your corner, you always want to hold shift. Hold shift and then drag it. And now you're making it large and the proportion size is right. Now I'm going to introduce you to another tool real quick, and that's called the eraser tool. So again, these tools over here helps you with the special effects. This side over here helps you with the layer situation. All right, so I want you to wrap your head around here. Layers, effects, or tools. Layers, effects, or tools. So we're going to get one tool called the eraser tool. I'm going to hit the eraser tool, and well, there's something that I need to help you understand real quick, because you may run into this issue. Sometime when we get images on layers, sometimes it's going to come over as what's called a smart object. A smart object is always going to have this little thing happening in the corner. So some manipulation you're not going to be able to do until you rasterize a smart layer. Now you don't have to rasterize every layer. For example, this layer is not a smart layer, so we don't have to rasterize it. So if I wanted to use an effect, right, I go over here, and let's say I just wanted to erase something. I blow up my key. If I did that, it will work because this is not a smart layer. So let me undo that. But this right here, these two, these are smart layers. So if I try to get my eraser and I try to do the erasing, you will see that we have a circle with a slash in it. That means no or nothing. No, it's nothing that you can do right now. So what we have to do, what we always have to do, just keep in mind, whenever you see a rasterized layer, you're going to want to right click, and you want, whenever you see a group, a smart group, a smart layer. Oh, let me see if it'll pop up. All right. No, that's a group copy. Sorry. No. Okay, there we go. Whenever you see a smart object thumbnail, you're going to want to convert that into what's called a rasterized layer. So to do that, you want to select that layer, right click, and hit rasterize layer. Now when I hit that rasterized layer, you're going to see this little corner going to disappear. Watch. You see how that disappeared? Now this is not a smart layer now. It's just a layer. So this up here is a smart object layer, and this right here is just a layer. Now I can get my tool, my special effects tool. I call them special effects tool just to help me wrap my head around it. But now you can go to your eraser and you can hit your brackets and blow them up, and now you can erase the bottom of the legs. See, so that is how here, let me remove this layer. That is how you do the superimposing, right? So we got the group, but then we got something in the back superimposing. All right. So the other things we like to do, sometimes I like to cut off layers while I'm getting things worked out. So I'll cut the top layer off, and what I want to do is I want to kind of do something similar to what's happening right here with the guy in the middle and then the group. So to do that, I'm going to select this layer here, because this is the layer that I'm working on right now. If you click it on and off, and I'm going to zoom in. Now I'm going to show you how I zoom in. I zoom in using my my wheel on the mouse. Now it don't come like that standard. You have to set up your mouse to do that. So since you're going to be training with me, I prefer that you use the tools that I'm using and the way I'm using it. So to do that, you want to go to your edit. You want to go down to your preferences, go to your general, and then you're going to want to look up here and you see where it says, make sure you're in your general and your options here. And you see where it says zoom with scroll wheel. See, you can uncheck that, and then if I try to zoom with my wheel, it won't zoom in and out. But I like the convenience of zooming with my wheel. So if you select that, zoom with scroll wheel, you'll now be able to zoom in and out with just your index finger on the zoom. So that's another thing. Make sure you are either write that down, take that as a note, take all these as notes, because what I'm doing is I'm giving you what's called an accelerated training. You're going to be accelerated to learn how to do this. Then we're going to double back and I'm going to teach you the basics, okay? But make sure you write these notes, because this is how you get up and started immediately. This is how you get going right now, all right? Now I'm finna introduce you to a tool called the polygonal lasso tool, right? This is the lasso tool. So you click this, and what this allows you to do, it allows you to carve people out. So let me show you how we're going to carve out him. I don't know his name, you know his name, but let me show you. So right now he's already carved out up there, right? Because when you sent it to me, y'all was already carved out. But now I'm going to teach you how to carve the rest of him out and make him by himself. This is very important, all right? So to do that, you grab your lasso tool, you zoom in with the scroll wheel, and then you start tracing. You click it, right? You click it with your mouse. Click it. Let's zoom out. Oh, it's not allowing me to zoom out. Okay. When it don't allow you to zoom out, because when you got this marquee tool selected, it's not going to allow you to zoom in and out. All right. So what I like to do is, if you hit the space button, you see how that turned into a hand? I'm going to release the space button. I'm going to hit the space button. It turns into a hand. That allows you to move the picture up, down, left, and right. You see what I'm saying? All right. So then once I release it, it goes back to my marquee tool. So let's go ahead and finish. Now, right now, I'm kind of guessing it because I can't see because I'm so zoomed in. All right. So I can kind of see a little outline. I'm just clicking it. Okay, I'm going to need to zoom out. So let me explain something to you. Let's say you use this lasso tool and you clicking it and you clicking it and you clicking it and you clicking it, and then you make a mistake. Be like, oh, I didn't mean to click there. Well, what you can do to take steps back, hit delete. If you hit delete, it's going to take steps back. See how I'm hitting delete and it's going back every step that I had made. Let's hold the space and move it up. And if I hit delete, all that's going to do is delete the steps that I made. So now, since I don't have the marquee tool, I can zoom out to see the full body, right? So let me hit the space so I can slide him around. Remember, you want to hit the space so you can move the entire picture around. And now, since I can kind of get a better visual picture of his arm, I'm going to go back and do the marquee tool. So I'm going to click there, click there, click there, there. And then I'm going to just move down the arm. I'm not going to be so perfect with it, right? And then I'm going to hold my space so I can get my hand, because I want to move the picture up. It's like moving the paper around. That's kind of, it's similar to that. I want to move this paper up. Well, you hit your space, that's your hand moving the paper up, because you're going to have a little window to work with, right? All right, so let's keep going. Keep going. And now we want to do this side. So we keep going up the line. Let me hit my space so I can move the page down. I don't want to get his arm, so I'll keep it there. Click there, click there. And I don't have to follow, since this part is already cut out, since all that is already cut out, I don't have to do that. I only had to work with what was not cut out. So since this is already cut out, I can simply just go around, connect it. Now I'm going to zoom in so that you can see. If I don't connect it, nothing is going to happen. You have to go back to that edge, and you see where that circle, when that circle pop up. When that circle pop up, you can hit click, and now you have what's called the marching ants the marquee tool selected. You got it. You got this image selected. Now there's a few ways. I'm gonna hold the space again, move it up. There's a few ways we can get this guy out this picture so he can be by himself. You can cut it out. You can copy and paste it out. It's a variety of different ways, but I'm going to show you the way I like to do it because it's fast, and the way I like to do it, I like to not only cut him out, but I also like to give him his own layer. So to do that, once this is selected, once the merchant ants is selected around him, you hold Control and hit X. And what I just did was I just cut him out this picture. I cut him out, but he's not gone. See, he's copied, right? When I hit Control X, I copied him into my clipboard. My clipboard is where when you copy something, it goes into some place into the computer, and then it don't reveal itself until you paste. Now I want you to pay attention to this layer over here when I hit paste. To paste, you want to hold Control V, and that's going to paste him back, right? Now, not only did it paste him back, it pasted him on his own layer. So now when I go select him, I can move him around and he's on his own layer. See, I can remove him, I can bring him back. I can remove these guys, I can bring them back. See, he's on his own layer. Now that's why I like to cut and then paste. Now let me show you what happens when we copy and paste. So we're going to go back. Let's step back, step back, step back. Okay, so he's back in the group with the original guys. What I like to do, if I don't copy, I like to cut and paste because again, it makes his own layer. But when I can hold Control and then hit C, now Control C, the equivalent on the Macintosh is Command C. It's all the same thing. It's just I use Control, you're going to use Command. All right. So I'll give you all of the alternatives. I'll give you what your keyboard is going to say as opposed to mine. Or should I say I'll give you both. Like Windows is Control C, Mac is Command C. And I'll give you all the shortcuts too. But anyway, Control C or Command C on you. Now if I hit Command V or Control V, it pastes a new layer, right? But guess what? It pasted the artist on the same place, but if I remove the artist, you see that he's still here with his group. But if I click the other layer, because I remember I copy and then I paste, if you remove the bottom, you will see that he's here by himself. Okay. One practice you may have, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't practice this a lot, but for you being in training, you may want to practice. I don't know what his name is, but I'm going to call him Jesus 2 or Jesus 2. So I'm gonna double click that and type JUSUS 2. And I'm just doing that because I don't know his name, right? So it's best that when you make layers, name each layer so you can know where everybody is. All right, so we'll call this band, so we know that's the band layer. Then we'll call this Jesus right here. Right now I just showed you two ways that we could make copies of people. So right now this focus and this training is specifically on helping you to understand what layers is and helping you understand what these very small little tools over here. We only just used a couple of tools, and I want you to be able to drive this point home. I want to be able to help you to understand this. So the first assignment that I want, so that I know that you'll get it, is to open up Photoshop. By understanding these layers, open up Photoshop and take this layer that you sent me here. No, actually here, not that one, this one here. Take this, and what I want you to do in practice, carve each person out and put each person on their own layer. That may be a little tedious, but remember, all you have to do when you, let's say for example, him, right? I don't know his name. You're going to give me their names later. But let's say him, since he's already cut out, all you got to do is get that marquee tool and cut it in there. And then follow the body all the way around and connect it. And then you're going to what? You're going to hold Command X to cut them out, and then Command V to paste them, or Command C to copy him, and then Command V to paste them. So I want you to do that as a practice, because that is how we're going to primarily build these layers. Now, with all that being said, I'm going to stop the training right now, because we're going to pick up after I know that you got that under your belt. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to semi-reproduce one of the flyers that you sent me with that knowledge. And I'll try my best to explain as we go, as we move forward. So we're not going to do that one. This one here, we're going to redo this one, because this may be probably the easiest one to redo. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold Control. I'm going to cut it. Control X, right? And I'm gonna put it on a new layer. So let's say new. Oh, I don't think I did that right. Let's see. Control copy. New. Okay, I did it right. Okay. Hit OK. Control V, paste it. And I'm just going to have it like on the side so I can kind of reference it. And let's go back to this. Okay, so I'm gonna have that on the side so I can reference it, and I'm going to delete all the rest of the layers here. Oh, something else. When that marquee tool, you see here, whenever you see the marching ants or the marquee tool, that kind of stops you from doing a lot of things. So a lot of times what I like to do is go up to select, click select, and hit deselect. Once you hit deselect, now you can kind of manipulate things. You can go over here and delete layers. So I'm gonna delete that layer, and I'm gonna delete that layer, delete that layer. This is the color layer. I'm gonna delete that. Okay, so this is the only layer we're gonna keep. So let's delete this one, and even the brown background. And we're gonna start from here. So we're going to reproduce something similar to this. So the first thing I wanna do is bring in all the elements. So since we already got your group already separated, I'm going to, and I'm waiting, let me see if you responded to the logo. Julie. Okay, I sent it already. Okay, so you sent it. All right, so let's do this. Let me explain to you, my brother, how we go into finding images, right? So what I like to do, one of my little secrets, one of my very dark secrets, because I don't really tell everybody this, I only tell my people that's very, very, very serious about doing this, and that's actually paying for the training, that really want to be trained. My biggest secret is all my images I get from Google. I go to Google and I type in anything I want. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in, we're going to look for a sky. Now this, what is that? Inseparable. Okay, inseparable. All right, so first thing we're going to do, type in sky. Boom. And now we're just going to look, spend some time, look for some images. This looks similar to what you got on here. Let's look at this. It's not 100%, but it's let's see. Look like I lost. Sorry. Let's see. Okay, there you go. All right, this look pretty close. This here look pretty close. Let's see if I can find something else. Let's see here. That might be close. Okay, we're not going to spend forever doing it. So let's go up to actually this looked like it too, but the tree looked too wicked. Okay. All right, so let's go back to the one I said. Let's just pick this. So I'm gonna select that. Oh, I see some more. Okay, here's some more. Here's some more. All right, I'll just stick with this. All right, and what I'm going to do is, now let me explain to you how I like to get my images. A lot of times I like to copy the image address. The reason why I copy the image address, because if I try to get this image, it could be too small. But if I copy the image address and I go up here and paste the address into the search bar and I hit enter, that's going to show me where the original image is. Once I know where the original image is, I download it. So I'm gonna right click this, I'm gonna save image as, and I'm going to save it in my downloads. So let's save it in the downloads. Okay, we got it in our downloads, and now I can import it. So let me import this. Now let me show you here. I'm gonna click that. Let's move this layer out the way real quick. Let's select this, and there's two ways you can add the image. The best way to add the image into this layer is by going to File, go to Place, because we're going to place the image in here. Now remember where I saved it? I saved it inside of Downloads. So we're going to want to go to our Downloads. My Downloads is right here. Your downloads may be somewhere else, and that is one of the issues that you was having because you don't know where your images is going. But don't worry, because I got my Mac pulled out. I'm gonna do another tutorial showing you where your image is going, or how you can make sure that you put all your images in this one folder, and then you could go inside that one folder and find everything you need. So I'm gonna show you how to set that up. I gotta set up my Mac so I can get the images and stuff like that pulled up out of there. But we know that we saved our images inside of this download folder. So let's click that, open that, and here we see here is where the image is. So I'm gonna click that. And you see where it says place. I'm gonna hit place, and now we placed our image on its own layer inside of this file. Okay, so remember, when it comes in, it's going to be a rasterized layer. It's going to be a smart layer. We want to right click that, or let me say, it's two ways you can do it. I apologize, I'm kind of moving too fast. You want to go over the words, right click, and then hit rasterize layer. Because if you try to do it right here, you hit right click, you're going to get a set of other things. All right, I just enlarged the thing. That's going to give you a set of options on how big you want your thumb layer, nails and stuff like that. So you want to right click in the letters, in the words. When you right click in the words, they give you the option to rasterize that layer. All right, so once we got that layer rasterized, we know by looking at this image right here, we know, well, let me ask you, where should this layer be, in front of them or behind them? I'm not trying to treat you like a 2-year-old, but I do want to make sure that you understand it so that you can move quicker. You know what I'm saying? So obviously you will want this layer behind your group, or you will want your group above the layer. So now, here we go. So if you look, okay, so we on to something. So let's click the layer behind, pull it up. All right. And then remember I said when we want to scale something, all you got to do is go to the edge, but don't forget, to scale it in proportion, you want to hold shift and then drag it. That's what you want to do, to hold it in proportion. All right, so now let's move it inside of a little place. Okay, cool. I'm gonna hit enter, and we're going to select your group, bring up the group a little bit. Now the second thing we want to do is look at this. They look like they got a checker floor. Well, let's find the checker floor. So now where are we going to find some type of checker floor? Again, Google. So I'm going to hit plus so I can do a search. I'm going to type checker floor, hit enter, and see if we can get lucky. So the first thing I'm going to do is hit checkered floor. Okay, I'm going to hit images, and I'm going to look for a floor that has perspective. Now what I mean by perspective is this. This is a flat floor, right? We got the checker, but it don't look like somebody is standing on it. We have to find a floor that look like your group can be standing on it, right? So out of all these images, here's something right here. Matter of fact, that look like that might be, no. As we see here, we see that it's a perspective, but it's going this way. See how it's going this way? So let's try to find a floor that's going this way. Now here's one. It's going that way, but it's too big. It's not let's see. Now oh, here's one that's going this way. So and there's another one. No, it's not. This one here is going that way. All right. So for the purpose of saving some time, let's go in here and just go ahead and get this floor that's going this way. This looks like the best one so far. Oh, here's some more. Okay. All right. So let's stick with what we got. So again, right click, copy image address, because I want the raw original image. Click that, paste, hit enter. There we go. We have the original image right here. So with that, I'm going to save image as, save it in our downloads. Sorry about that. Save it in our downloads. Now we got it. Now we know that it's in our downloads. We're going to go file, place, and click that image. All right. So now, oops, sorry about that. Wait, where did it go? All right, I don't know. Here, let's do that again. Place. There we go. Okay, we're going to hit enter, and remember this is a smart object layer. Remember, whenever ever got that square, it's a smart object. To be able to scale this, you want to right click, rasterize that layer so we can manipulate it. And now let's scale it. So don't forget, again, hold shift, pull, and scale. Go into this corner, scale down. All right. So now let's move the group above this layer. There we go. So now if we look in here, we see the boys are standing on, that might be the exact same thing. Look like to me. Now you may be asking T, but we got the wall back there. What's up with that? How you get rid of that? I'm gonna show you. So let's go here. Let's cut off the eyes to the guys, and let's just take the marquee tool. Remember the marquee tool I was telling you? We'll click there, click there, click there, and erase everything else. All right, and don't forget, we got to go when that sucker hit that circle. Now we got that marquee going, you know we in the right place. So we hit delete. Right now here, let's deselect, and I want this to be more smoother. Right, I don't want it to have a sharp edge. So what I'm gonna do is hit the eraser. I'm gonna shrink the eraser. Now let me show you. This is another tip. Write this down. There's two ways you can shrink or grow a brush or eraser. Right now we at the eraser tool. The eraser tool and the brush tools are the two primary tools that you're going to be using on this side. Okay, what you're going to be using often, very often, the eraser tool, very often the brush tool, very often the marquee or the magic wand. I'll explain to you what that is later. Extremely often the selection tool. Okay, now so right now we're on the the eraser tool. Now, when you look at your keyboard, you should have brackets, a left bracket and a right bracket. When you hit your left bracket, you shrink the brush. When you hit your right bracket, bow, 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 you grow the brush. So I can get a smooth edge on here because I don't want a hard edge. I'm going to shrink the brush, and then I'm just going to touch it just a little bit. Let it fade. All right. And then now what I'm going to do, now this is a personal trick that I like to do because right now it's too transparent. It's starting to show this, right? It's not fading in there pretty good. So what I like to do personally is like drag it down a couple times. 1, maybe 2, thicken that back up, right? Now I want to merge all these together. So to merge these together, you're going to be doing a lot of merging too. I promise you that. So what I like to do is 1, hold shift, select another layer, hold shift again, select that layer, then hold Control E, and you merge them all together. All right. So just a few small little tips, a few small little tricks, and that'll help you, you know, when you run into little issues. I'm gonna stretch this out a little bit so we can kind of get rid of that. Move it up a little so we can't see the fade, and hit enter. All right, so let's bring the boys back. So now we got the boys, and then we got the background. And the only thing that's missing right now, let me check my email and see if you sent the I'm gonna see if you sent the thing. Just give me a second. I'm gonna pause. Let me pause this real quick. Okay, I see you sent the logo, so that's cool. So now, last but not least, let's go to File, Place. Let's put that logo in there. Boom. Oops, I didn't put the logo at the wrong place, sorry. Well, place it right here. Right there. Okay, so let's look at this. We'll pay attention to the size of it. All right, let's slide this over. Pay attention to the size of it. And we put it over here in the corner. Let's, again, shrink it down. Hold Control, Shift, shrink it down. Put it in the corner. And now we got it. Very similar flyer thing going on. Now the last thing to do is add the text. Now, let's say, inseparable. Okay, inseparable. I don't know how to spell that, but I'm gonna try. So one thing that I have not taught you yet, but I'm gonna teach you now, is how to make the text layers. So again, everything is going to go in its own layer. When I select my text, which is T is a symbol of text, and I click inside of this window, it automatically makes a text layer, as you see right here. And then you just put in your words. So I'm going to type in inseparable. Inseparable. Okay. And I'm going to hit that. Now, for some reason, my inseparable was up in the sky. Yours shouldn't do that. I be having my Photoshop set up in a bunch of different ways that make it do weird stuff. But anyway, I got my inseparable going on. And let me explain to you a few things about the text. So once we select the text, a couple things pop up. A new panel pops up here at top. This panel allows you to adjust the size. It allows you to, if you're going to have it on the left, the middle, or the right, you know, if you're writing a paragraph or something, it's going to have the color. So whatever color you have selected already down here, that's going to automatically default to the text color, but you can always change it. You know, you can make it pink, you can make it green, you can make it red. Look like to me, you kind of got it like maybe like a silver or something. So I'm just gonna have it white for now. I'm gonna hit OK. Now let's say, hey, that's cool, inseparable. I just don't like the font. How do we change it? Well, you want to select. So let me show you. To change it, make sure that the layer is selected. and make sure your make sure your text tool is selected. Okay, make sure your layer selected as well as your text tool. When you see this thing, I call this like the eye. It's like an eye with a little slash at the bottom. That means it's ready to manipulate these texts. All right. If you don't see this little eye with the slash at the bottom, or let's say for instance that's selected, you can't change the text. If that's selected, you can't change the text. You have to have the T selected, and then you go in here, and now you can select them all. Now you can hit this. This is going to show you all your fonts, all what you can use. I can use that. I can use that. Right now, everybody's fonts is not set up like this, so I'm going to show you how to set up your fonts so that when you click this here, you'll be able to see all of the font sizes, all of the styles, but you'll also be able to see it big. I'm going to show you how to do that. To do that, you want to go to type. Wait, is it type? Sorry, let's see. Wait. It should be type. Oh, there's font preview size. Okay, I think I know what's happening here. We got to go to another layer and go to type. Font preview size. Okay, so it can't be selected. If it's selected, let's see. Okay, it can be selected. Anyway, this is where it's at. Font preview size. Oh, I know why I wasn't doing it. It was in editing mode. When it's in editing mode, like if it was in editing mode and I would have had those selected, if I try to do it, it's going to be grayed out. Just get out of editing mode, and then you can be able to go to type size and go to huge. And I'm sure you what happens if I hit small. If it's at small and I go to my text, everything gonna be too little. I can't see nothing. So I like to go to type, font size, huge. Okay, so let's get back to business. Let's go back into editing mode by selecting the text. And now let's pick a text that's close, that's the most close to what this is. This looks like some type of cursive writing. So let's just get as close as possible. And let's see here. Where do we have here? Just for now, we're going to stick with that. All right. So this is a very quick preview on how this was put together. All right. Now, once you get this under your skin, which is very easy, I'm gonna teach you how to take it a million steps further. Like when people see your flyers, their eyeballs is gonna pop out their heads. I promise you. But we got to get through the basics first. I want you to be able to navigate around Photoshop a little bit. So what I want you to do is I want you to practice. Watch this tutorial, take notes, write it down, and practice it. Meanwhile, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my iMac pulled up. I'm gonna install Photoshop in that so I can show you where your image is going to go, show you where you save your files, show you where everything is, because of course Windows and Mac is two different things. So I'm gonna get that pulled up. Just give me a day or so, make sure I got everything installed. I'm gonna get that pulled up, and meanwhile I'm still going to be sending you texts and maybe quick little videos or some other references on how you can still get this stuff done. So don't worry, I ain't gonna leave you hanging for like a week or nothing like that. I'm gonna still be actively working with you, but I just want you to get familiar with Photoshop, and mainly those very small points that I brought out, the few tools that you're going to use on the left, and understanding how the layers work. I want you to understand that, because when you understand that, and don't get overwhelmed with it. Let me know, text me like, T, I think that's kind of hard. I'll simplify it as best as I can so that you can get through it, because I really, really want you to learn how to do this, you're going to save so much. Not only are you going to save a lot of money, but the better your flyers look, the more people you're going to bring to your venue. So not only you're going to save money, but you can possibly gain more money by having more dynamic looking flyers. All right. So Chewy, I'm gonna wrap it up right now. This has been our session. I'll be reaching out to you, letting you know how things is going to go. I'm going to upload this on YouTube, put it on a private channel so that you can always have access to it. You're going to be the only one that have access to this video. And then we're going to go from there. Okay. So be on the lookout, follow the directions, watch the tutorial, take notes, and get back with me. I'm gonna be reaching out to you with some homework assignments and some questions to see where you are. And then you may have some questions for me. Make sure you write them down so that you can present it to me in our next phone conversation. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up, and I'll be speaking to you soon, brother. Peace.